for having me. Thank you for coming by. Don't make it lonely. Just kidding.
Because we have some questions too for him if you guys run out, but they're kind of odd ones, so I don't know. But just to get things going, I thought that we'd play a quick little game of 20 questions while we're waiting for everybody to line up here, if you're ready for that.
All right, cool,
so
let's do it.
These are going to be just simple yes or no or really quick answer questions for you, and we're going to see how many you can do in 1 minute.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, now some of them, if you don't know an answer, just say pass, that's totally fine, because some of them are kind of series specific, but all right, ready? Here we go, guys. 1, 2, 3. Favorite Pokemon?
Eevee.
Best doctor from Doctor Who?
Oh, Tenet.
Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
Game of Thrones or Stranger Things?
Oh, pass. I can't. I love them both.
Android or iPhone?
Android, but I have
Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, or Tiny Toons?
Animaniacs all the way.
One of your hobbies?
Gaming.
Best Golden Girl?
Blank.
If you could be any animal in the world, what would you be?
Cat.
What were you like in high school?
What? Say that again?
What were you like in high school?
A geek.
Last show you watched on TV?
Last show I watched on TV? Stranger Things Season 2.
Favorite 80s song?
Pass.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A firefighter. Yes.
How many pennies would fit inside this room?
Too many.
Who would win in a fight between Spider-Man and Batman?
Batman.
Oh, there we go. They were hard. They were
Those
hard.
are fun.
All right.
Favorite 80s song?
I know.
You had to ask that.
I had to ask that. Yeah. Do you want to finish off the last 5?
Sure, let's finish them off.
Book or ebook?
Book.
Dream celebrity to work with?
Mark Hamill.
Name a language you'd like to learn.
Japanese.
Tattoos, piercings, or au naturel?
Oh, natural.
And cats, dogs, or ferrets? We're making it hard.
I love all animals.
Okay,
we're about to. I have 2 cats, and my wife and I we just bought a house, and we're about to adopt our first dog together next month. So we're gonna have a menagerie.
Very nice.
Let's do what? Oh my God! There, thank you. Yeah, she just reminded me of my favorite '80s song, "Safety Dance."
Excellent. There we go. Safety dance. Okay.
Safety Dance. Actually, my favorite though recently, as I love D&D. Somebody made a D&D version of it for Necromancer.
Oh.
It's like, Necromance, if you want to, we can bring your friends to life.
Excellent.
I want that.
All right, so just a reminder for some of you here, we have some of your popular anime roles.
Okay.
Yuri Katsuki from Yuri on Ice, of course.
Sexy pork cubbing bowl.
Armin Arlert from Attack on Titan.
Join the scouts, we have cookies.
Demon King Satan Jacob from The Devil is a Part-Timer.
I am Satan, the Lord of Fries.
Kenichi Shirahama from Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple.
Geronimo! Coho, hi-ho.
Akihisa Yoshi from Baka and Test.
Hideyoshi's my waifu.
And Yukiteru Amano / First from The Future Diary.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm a casual observer. Unless Yuno's coming after me with an axe, then I'm an active runner.
Okay, so please again keep all questions PG-13, or PG, just PG, not PG-13. We do have some kids in the audience.
We didn't check IDs at the door.
Yes. And
Awesome cosplayers.
how about all the cosplayers stand up just for one quick second, just to
I
show.
see a Victor and a Yurio and a Satan and a Oh yeah, see. Oh, y'all look so good. Naruto. Wait, are you from Ruby? No? Okay. Victor. Oh my gosh, from My Hero. Nice. Yeah. Y'all look so good. Thank y'all so much for another Victor. All spirited away. Sweet.
All right, and of course Mr. Grelle loves to do voices, but he can't say things that aren't canon in the series already. So, all right. All right, so let's get to our questions then.
Howdy. Gravity Falls. Nice.
So, what's your, wait, so can you do Armin's scream?
I can't do the scream. It really hurts, and I still have to talk to a lot of people today. But I can do the Armin speech if you like. Are you down for the big speech? All right, cool. You ready? Let's move the mic over there. I am a soldier, And I have dedicated my heart to the restoration of humanity, sir. Nothing could make me prouder than dying for such a noble cause. If we use his titan ability with the manpower we have left, I believe we could do it. We could retake this city. For humanity's glory, and what little time I have left to live, I will advocate its strategic value!
Nice to meet you too. What's your name?
My name is Kendra.
Hi, Kendra. You having a good time?
Yeah, I am.
Good.
As you can see today, I'm just like this car heat.
Okay. Oh my God!
Like the first episode.
Yeah.
I was actually wondering, as for Armin, if he didn't if he wasn't studying all about the Titans and stuff like that, if he didn't have to worry about that, what would he study and what would he enjoy, do you think?
Probably geography. He's just,
Something about
I think he would just explore the world and get to learn it. Any form of, I can see him being the first to pioneer studies of geology and trying to figure out how old these mountains are, going deep sea diving and trying to figure, he would be an explorer. I could totally see him being an explorer. Yeah, grow his hair long. Oh yeah. That cinnamon roll would grow up to be a spicy cinnamon twist. Yeah, it'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your question. You too. Enjoy the con.
Thank you.
What's up? Thank you. You came by earlier.
I
love
did.
your cosplay.
Thank you. You know what cosplays mean, don't you? So it's more love.
She does.
My question is from the Yuri on Ice stuff.
Okay.
One of my favorite lines, and I know it's not in the song, is, I want to crawl under a rock and die.
Yes.
Was that written in the script? Did you add it?
It was in the script. Yeah, that was in the script.
They just decided to add that?
A little bit, yeah. There was a lot of times where we would try to, because a lot of times the straight translation that we'll get won't always fit in the timing of the Japanese, because a lot of times right. The syntax is flipped. A lot of times, the Japanese will take a lot longer to say something than we normally would just from the straight translation. So we have to kind of fill that and also stick with the character. And I think that was just that particular moment. She was just trying to stay in character for what Yuri was thinking and going through at that moment, and I thought it was brilliant. It was just I want to crawl under a rock and die! Yeah, very relatable. I think really that's the biggest draw of Yuri, is the fact that everybody can relate to him and his struggle. And everybody's had those moments of just feeling utterly embarrassed and feeling like they could just go and hide or crawl under a rock and die. But yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Why hello there?
Hello.
Why hello there, Mr. Grelle?
Hello, sir.
Wait, this is on.
It should be. Oh, no, it's not.
No.
What happened?
What?
What?
This is your guys' job.
This is.
Microphone's taking a break.
But I first have to thank you for all that you collaborated, for you giving every single one people here another reason to go on.
Thank you very much. You guys are the reason I'm here, so thank you.
But another question I have to ask.
Yeah.
Because of that, I would love to do the same thing as you do. So
Okay.
if you were to teach a beginning voice actor or someone who wants to voice act as a living, what would you say?
Who here would like to pursue voice work as a job? Keep your hands up.
Yeah.
How many of you have had theater experience or have taken workshops or acting classes? Okay, awesome, you're already ahead of the curve. Really becoming an actor is key. I started, before I ever became a voice actor or even thought about pursuing voice work, I started doing theater when I was 5 years old. I did it all the way until I graduated high school, and then I started pursuing voice work. I did not have a whole lot of resources. I lived in a little podunk town in the middle of nowhere of Texas. So we had a community theater, and that was all we had for miles. So I learned by doing.
by being on stage, by practicing the craft there and finding my strengths. That I would recommend that for everybody. Learning to be an actor first and foremost gives you all the tools you need to go in and perform with your voice. And not just that, if you have more resources than that, make use of them. Like even if it's joining a choir or like even a church choir or something, like something that allows you to use your voice and get used to performing with it. Taking workshops, if your school or a college or university you want to go to offers classes in acting or theater or voice and diction, take those. A lot of times really well-known voiceover artists or casting directors will go all over the world and offer workshops for like a weekend if you can. If you find out about them, do those. I mean, I still do them. Acting is a craft where you are always learning. You will always be refining and discovering new things about what you can do with your performance, with your voice. Really, I mean, and that's the basis of it. I mean, the important thing to remember is that you have two words, voice acting. Everybody has a voice, but if you can't perform with it, it's going to fall short. So, other than that, depending on where you live and the type of voice acting you want to get into, at some point you might have to look into an agent or some other form of representation. Do you live here locally?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know for a fact Vancouver already has a solid voice acting community. And some studios and stuff like Ocean Studios that did the original Dragon Ball dub. They dubbed Inuyasha.
Yeah.
My Little Pony, Prince of His Magic, is mostly recorded here. And Reboot was made, all sorts of stuff. And it's a big enough city, it's also going to have a whole lot of industrial work and commercial work, radio, all that stuff that would require voiceover work. So you're in a perfect market for it here. Just get the experience and go after it. And really, and this might just sound cliche or just sound like common sense, but don't quit. Like, it's have patience, don't quit. It could take you, like you might be lucky and it might take you just a couple of years or something to find your stride and get discovered and really start getting a lot of work. It might take you 10 years. As long as you stick with it, it will happen eventually. Have a good attitude, keep learning, always refine your craft as much as you can and just stick with it. Thank you. You bet. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
All right. I was wondering, it's kind of two parts.
Okay.
I'd like to know which character you identify with the most that you've played, and which character's life of all the ones you've played would be the one that you would want to live.
Oh, not Armin's. Let's see. Man. So sometimes when people will ask me like, "What's your favorite character?" and then it's like, pick a favorite child. I have a list of 5 that I have, and the reason I picked these 5 is because I related to them the most. They came around at a point in my life when I really needed that type of role or that experience to kind of reconcile some stuff within me. And Kenichi Shirahama, he was my first big role. He taught me, and just kind of going through on his journey with him, taught me about perseverance even in the face of crippling self-doubt. Kurinosuke from Princess Jellyfish taught me, oh yeah, we got some jellyfish fans, hello darlings. Kurinosuke came along at a time in my life when I was really struggling with my own gender identity. And I got the chance to kind of explore my femininity through him and to just really live that and dive into it without feeling any sort of pressure or any sort of judgment or anything. I just got to be that. And also he was just really cool because he was such an inspirational character. It was the first time I'd ever seen a character that could be identified as transgender or non-binary or any of those being portrayed as the role model of a show. Then Armin, I had a lot in common with Armin. Armin kind of reminded me of myself as a kid or as a young actor, or like when I first was starting out. that feeling, or really not necessarily as an actor. For Armin, it was more of my relationship with my friends. That feeling of like, oh, I'm not a good friend. They don't see me as being worthy of hanging out with them, or I'm just a burden, or anything like that. And then for him to realize, oh wait, no, they don't think that, I think that. I'm my own worst enemy in this case. And how that, once he realizes that, he gets all of that confidence, and it really changes him. Probably the one that I identify with the most, though, would be Yuri. Because for Yuri, and I think I think Yuri is the kind of character that everybody in this room could relate to on some level. Like, how many of you, who all in here would define themselves as being an artist? Like, yeah, there you go. Like, whether you draw, you write, you act or perform or dance or any of those things, skate, do gymnastics, do athletics, like that is your art, something that you're performing with and trying to refine. Yuri's story is about the pursuit of artistic perfection. And the fact that, how many of you that had your hands up said, or if you don't consider yourself an artist, how many times have you ever had the feeling or the thought of, why am I doing this? It's like, why am I even trying? I suck at this. Like, I'll never be good. I'll never be worth anything with it. Like, it's like, that's Yuri. That is what he's going through in this story. That and for him, his biggest enemy is himself. Is that crippling self-doubt? Is that lack of faith in his own abilities? And we see that struggle every time he's on the ice. Why it's called Yuri on Ice. His war, his battle with himself always takes place there. I mean, as an actor, I grew up drawing and writing stories, and then and pursuing acting, and then acting became the thing that I focused on most and put all my energy into. And I still, to this day, there are times, yesterday in fact, where I was kind of just sitting around thinking, man, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't get why this is even happening or why I'm here. Like there's so many other things I probably should have done that would be more safe, or that I would be better at. And it can be a constant struggle. I mean, that doubt and fear is an artist's constant companion. It's that little voice you are always going to be fighting. But like Yuri, when I realized that no, I had a lot of love and support coming from a lot of different people, my friends, my family, my wife, and just from so many people that have come up to me at conventions or over the weekend just telling me like, hey, this, like, I really appreciated this, or this really helped me, like this role or something, like really helped me to come out to my family, or for me to live as myself, or inspired me to pursue my art, or whatever. Then that gives me the strength to keep fighting that fear and that doubt. So, yeah, for me, Yuri is the one I identify with the most.
And number 5? That's
number 5. Yeah, number 5. I don't really learn anything from him. It was just Satan, the Lord of Fries. He's my other favorite, just because it's like, who wouldn't want to be Satan in working in McDonald's? Like, hello, yes, you will eat those fries. You will be mine! Thank you for your question. I love your t-shirt.
Thank you.
It's Victor posing with Yuri, and Victor's eating what is that, a taco?
It kind of looks like a taco.
It's like a
taco fusion of something.
It's got a sausage in it.
It's a burrito. It's a taco mixed with a burrito.
Oh, there you go. And Yuri's looking at him just, what are you doing? What's your question? What's your name?
Okay. So my question is, because Yuri loves his pork cutlet bowls so much, the real question of the matter is, do you like the pork cutlet bowls?
I love katsudon. Who here has never had katsudon or pork cutlet bowl? Oh my god. Find it, put it in your face. It's so good. There's a reason that Yuri got fat on it. I would happily get more fat on it. Like, it's so good. It's just breaded pork
on top of rice with an egg and a little bit of soy sauce.
Maybe some
And it's
broccoli and carrots.
buttery and like I want to bathe in it. So good, it's delicious. And actually, a really funny thing, who here has also seen Devil's a Part-Timer? Along with Yuri. Okay, so the very first episode when Satan or Mao goes into our world and he's arrested, like he's brought in by the police officer and he offers him katsudon and he's telling him, "This is katsudon, okay?" The person who voiced that cop was Sonny Strait, who went on to direct Yuri on Ice. And then cast me as the poor cutlet bowl. It's weird how that works out.
So it just comes back around.
Always. Now I'm just waiting for the next time that I get a roll with katsudon, and I'm just like, well, I guess katsudon is my spirit food, like the rest of my life. It really does. It is comfort food of the highest quality, and if you have not had it, get it. Put it in your face.
Put it in your stomach and your digestive system.
Just like let it work through you and purify you. Thank you for your question, sweetie. Hi.
Hello.
Is that a jellyfish on your head?
Maybe.
I like it. Looks like Clara, but with chocolate sauce on it. What's your question?
Okay. My question kind of went back and forth, but hold on a sec.
Okay. It's all good.
Okay. So when you're voicing, I pronounce his name, but from Princess Jellyfish.
Konosuke,
Yes.
Yes.
Well, okay.
It's all good. Take your time.
Okay. So my sister, River.
Mm-hmm.
She is in the back.
Hi.
I just wanted to, she kind of wanted to know, like, what was your kind of favorite line in that whole series? Even though, I know, it's hard. It's hard.
I guess. I know it's hard, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Let's see. Favorite line.
Or, like, most memorable.
Most memorable? Oh, man. For me... They're having fun next door. Let's see. That's really hard. I don't necessarily know. I don't think I necessarily have a favorite line of Kurnosuke's. I think my favorite moment, though, is the moment where Kurnosuke kind of gets through to the sisterhood of, finally just kind of gets through to them and says, look, you can be a geek and you can have your fandoms. Those don't make you weird. Those don't make you outcasts. Those are your passions, and those are what give you strength and make you unique. And it says, and then also just shows them, look, you can be yourselves and still, like, I don't want to say conform, but he's trying to get, like, have value in yourself, and then shows them, and you can also, you don't have to fear the stylish or being stylish. If you want people out there to take you seriously, especially when they're trying to save Amamizu-kan, you do have to kind of dress to impress, and you can do that and still be yourselves. And when he rushes in and just takes Maya through the next room, and they hear like all the what sounds like construction work happening basically, and then Maya just comes out and she's fabulous. That I think is my favorite moment. It just kind of where it just clicks for all of them. Oh. We can be these things, we can do this. And then when he immediately after that, takes them all out just for food. And they're sitting among the people that normally they would be very nervous or anxious about. And they're like, oh, like, there's nothing wrong here. We're us and we're comfortable and it feels really good. Like, that I think is my favorite moment. And it's it accentuates the biggest point of that story.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's Mario!
Actually, that's my Mario shirt.
Nice, thank you.
Anyways, I'm Chris Sniper. And I have a question.
Okay.
About your voice.
Yes.
Have you been a Broadway singer or a celebrity impressionist lately?
I've never been a Broadway singer and I would never try. Nobody wants to hear that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about celebrity impressionists, but I mean, I've been doing impressions ever since I was a kid, and that was kind of what really led into me becoming a voice actor. I love imitating, and I love just anything that I hear on TV, characters and stuff. Like even Kuranosuke was kind of my impersonation of two different characters, a mix. It was a mix of Samantha from Sex and the City and Rarity from My Little Pony.
So it's fabulous, darling. You look great. Oh, we're going to get you all sparkled up. It'd be wonderful. Stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I love doing impressions. I always have, and like doing accents and stuff like that. Would you like me to do some?
All right. I think I'd like you to do more.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, everybody's got like a Gollum, right? So like,
It's me, girl. Hello. Pearl for pearl is nice and pearl, so juicy sweet.
or we could do, oh gosh, fellas, we really have to get down. What are you doing?
Well, gosh, Donald, there's really no need to be rude.
It's like a lot of people like Arnold. It's not really Arnold, though. It's not really a Schwarzenegger. It's like, get to the chopper. If you can, or just doing dialects. Dialects can always be fun. Like for me, do a. Oh, yeah. Not really, and I don't really do a good Mark Hamill Joker, like, precisely, but, like, I've gotten to play a lot of characters that I've come doing my impression of Joker. Like, is anybody here a Ruby fan? Anybody watch Ruby? Anybody watch season 4 of Ruby? Oh my gosh, guys, catch up. We're already in season 5. But in season 4, I played one of the lead villains. His name is Tyrion, and everything he does is just very kind of, oh, hello, yes, kind of creepy, and... Yeah, I could go on forever. Please stop me. Hey, how's it going? What's up, Trey?
What do you think is one of your favorite lines that you've done in Yuri on Ice?
In Yuri on Ice?
Hey, Victor, I've got an idea. If I win the dance-off, come on, Setsu and be my coach. You'll do it, won't you, Victor? Be my coach.
Fun fact, I didn't, oh, thank you so much. Service with a smile. I did not know that scene was, because the week prior when I watched that episode, I didn't watch past the credits. I didn't know that scene was there. And so when we actually went in to record it the next week, right when we finished, I was like, all right, cool, and I got to start to get out of the booth, and Sonny's like, get back in, you've got more to do. And, and so it actually worked out really well, because I think if I had seen the scene beforehand, I would have tried to come up with a really funny or like really overworked it and overthought it. It might not have necessarily been what Sonny was looking for, but I got to just kind of do it in the moment. And almost, it was almost an ad-lib, so it was just like, just be drunk. I was like, oh crap, how do I sound drunk? And so just kind of did it and just kind of slurred everything. It was just really, just playing around, you know. It's all good. And just did it, and I was really happy with it. Hello, Ice. It's all good. That one for sure. I think though, it's close. That's favorite line. Favorite scene though would be the garage scene. Like that was really, like, I'm super proud of that moment, because as a performer, I've never really been able, one of the hardest things for me to do is to cry. Or like to get to that, let myself get to that emotional state where I just feel the moment, instead of like trying to sound like I'm crying, which usually ends up being what I've had to do, and I've never felt happy with it at all. I always thought it sounded like crap. And I grew up, again, small town Texas, where it was like, boys don't cry, drink your gasoline. And so like it was really hard, like I built up a lot of walls doing that. So like it was really hard to get past that, but I connected with Yuri so much and just like really identified with him, like especially that moment that, look, I just need you to believe in me more than I believe in me. Like that was a very real moment, and it was a lot. It was really easy for me to kind of let go and to just feel that again, and I was really proud of it. That was about as emotional as I've ever gotten behind the mic or on stage. So, thank you for your question, Trey.
We've got about 20 minutes left, everybody, so we'll try to get through as many of the questions as we can, all right?
I will try to speed round.
When you first started in Attack on Titans, what was the one thing that surprised you the most about Armin?
I wasn't really surprised about Armin because I'd had the opportunity to watch the whole show like long before we auditioned for it. I was a fan of it, and it was one of the first times in a long time I'd had just the free time and the opportunity to watch an entire show and be a fan of an anime again without any like strings attached. But like I was watching it and I fell in love with Armin and his story and identified with it. I thought he had one of the best arcs, especially in the first season. So when I got to audition for it and got the part, like that was just I think when they told me outside the studio, Mike McFarlane found me. He's like, "Hey, you're the new Armin." I screamed so loud that I think they heard me in the booths in the building. I mean, just super excited. I guess if something surprised me about Armin, it was just how difficult it was for me to get in touch to capture his frailty. Mike McFarlane, who directed the dub, he's also the voice of Jean. He was really particular about, no, look, Armin has to sound, especially as a kid and in the first few episodes, he has to have that frailty to him, that uncertainty, that fear. He has courage, but he hasn't locked into that courage yet because he doesn't believe in himself. So a lot of it was just trying to find that little bit of frailty, and a lot of it just came from putting a lot of breath there and being really uncertain. I don't know if this will work, Aaron. And just trying to capture that. It was really hard to force that amount of air just constantly going over my vocal cords and stuff, and being comfortable with it and making it sound believable. But once we locked into it, it was really easy, and we just kept going. So that was cool. Thank you. What's up, Scouts?
Okay, this is Yuri. Can you sing History Maker?
No. Again, you don't want me to sing. No, I don't want to sing.
I'm sure half the people
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear my heartbeat? I'm feeling never enough. I close my eyes, tell myself that my dreams will come true. There'll be no more darkness when you believe in yourself. You are unstoppable. Where your destiny lies. La, la, la. I don't know that. My heart on fire. Don't stop us now. The moment of truth. We were born to make history. We'll make it happen. We'll turn it around. Yes, we were born to make history. Thank you. I feel more confident in singing that now. That was fun. Thanks, guys. Welcome back.
I'm back. Mainly because I forgot about a thing, and then I reminded of
Okay. What's the thing?
Okay, so as much as I love Princess Jellyfish and Yuri on Ice, I got a question about Baka and Test. Because
Oh God, here we go.
I love Baka and Test.
Yes.
It's so dumb, but it's so good.
Exactly.
And you said you like D&D, so you've done it to yourself. If you had the chance, would you enroll in that school? And
Yes.
what kind of avatar would you have?
Oh.
And that's where I get you.
I would want a Hideyoshi avatar. It would be like little cat, girl, boy thing, like, because Hideyoshi's his own gender at this point.
There's
Just,
special one.
yeah, I don't know, or Kota, the whole ninja thing would be pretty cool. But he's a perv. I don't know. Like, I know I would definitely enroll in the school. I mean, like, oh my God, I would have been a straight A student if I had that. It's like, just like, I have a little avatar. We can battle each other like Pokemon in little 3D worlds, and my power is based on my grades. I would have studied every night. But then I might not have turned into an actor. This is like, I skipped studies so I could draw and practice acting, so I was a straight C student. Maybe B's. B's were the highest. But like, yeah, screw math.
If you had to assign a breed of dog to the characters of Yuri on Ice, what would which one be? Like what dog would each not? It's not what dog would each one have, but what dog breed?
Well, we know Yurio is a cat.
Yes.
Let's see, Yuri. He wouldn't be a Makachain, that would be Victor. That's like, it's a French, like, yeah, oh my, no, yes, Yuri is a Corgi. Yuri is a pure-blooded, pin-broke Corgi. He is a little cinnamon roll, but like, I mean, the Corgis are like little ADD missiles. I mean, that's Yuri, he's just all over the place. So like, I mean, yeah, absolutely, like, that would be that. Minako would be, a German Shepherd. No, a Husky. No, she'd be a German Shepherd. Let's see. Or a Poodle. I don't know. There's so many dog breeds. The little babies would all be pugs. And, what would Yakov be? Yakov would be... He would be a Mastiff. Yeah, big old Victor. What, JJ? What's the most popular breed up here? What's a Canadian breed? Oh, Newfoundland! JJ would be a Newfie. Big old Newfie, just like, hey, I'm a Newfie, and I'm the best Newfie there is. I'm the only real breed, it's Newfie style. Oh, man. I could go forever with that, but is that adequate for you? Cool, thank you. Thank you, but that's a fun question. Hi! How's it going?
It's going, you?
I'm great.
Fantastic. So my question to you is, who do you feel out of all the characters that you voiced is the most underrated character?
These are some good freaking questions, dude. Underrated.
Itsuki.
Oh, Itsuki from Initial D? Yeah. Is that what it's like? Oh my god, well, yeah, he's underrated, that's for sure. Bless his heart. Has anybody seen Initial D? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I played Itsuki for that, which if you've seen Initial D, you know he's the only character that looks like he actually has a heartbeat in that show, because everybody else is just stone-faced, and it was like, did you see that car? Yes, that was a very nice car. Did you see the hairpin turn he took at like 11 miles an hour? Yes, I saw that hairpin turn he took 11 miles an hour. Yes, it was a good hairpin turn. It was a very good hairpin turn. And Isuki's just like, cars are cool! So like, yeah, just being a geek. Like, I love, yeah, Itsuki's great. Underrated though, like most underrated. A lot of people do this like, Armin's not cool at all. He doesn't have any courage or like whatever. It's like, dude, he's one of the most courageous people right from the get-go. He's the first to say, yes, I'll join the military with you. Yes, I'll join the scouts with you. Oh, I'm gonna come up with a plan, but we're gonna have to go like face to face with like 5 titans to make this work. Takes on a female titan by himself for a little bit. It's just like, this dude has courage and he's strong. He's just not physically strong. He's mentally strong. You get in your head. Who here has seen season 2? Okay, not whole big spoilers or anything, but I'll just mention this for you guys. Do you know where Annie is? And I'll just leave it at that. Probably, yeah, Armin. I get a lot of people saying, like, Armin's just a wimp or he's not strong. It's like, you are severely underestimating this cinnamon roll.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you. Hi. How's it going? I love your beanie.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Not mine.
Thank you, it's not mine.
These are pretty lame questions, but could you say something from Yuri on Ice and something from The Devil's Apartment?
Sure. Let's see. First Mao. Tife summons! Petite de isla but 2 pumps per all! Roof ball fix! Let me get your change. Yuri, let's see. That's right.
I'm a sexy pork cutlet bowl femme fatale that enthralls men, and I'm gonna show him why. Hi.
It was my friend Pierce's birthday a
Okay.
year ago, and we're pretty much here to celebrate their birthday. So
Oh, happy birthday! Who's the birthday? Who's the birthday? Grab some another trip around the sun. Happy birthday to you. Yes, what can we do for you?
and that's it.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday! Come to Hasetsu and have pork cutlet balls for your birthday! Victor! What are you doing?
I'm here to ask a question.
What's your question?
So Yuri and I did a whole lot for the LGBTQ community, and I know that the dub was coming out kind of simultaneously to when you guys were recording it. When the kiss scene came out, what was everyone's reaction?
Yes! For most of us, yeah. And you know, like, it sucks for me as a fan of the show because, like, you know, it's not necessarily canon or, you know, like, they never actually say in the writing, yes, they are a couple or anything like that, but to me, it's pretty freaking obvious. And yeah, and again, like you say, it was, even if that's not what they meant with the show, oh my gosh, what the healthiest portrayal I've ever seen of a gay relationship because it's treated like any other freaking relationship. It's not overly sexualized or fetishized or anything. It's not, oh, they're a thing. It's just, oh, they're a thing. Cool. Back to ice skating. Like, it's just so wonderfully handled. And yeah, and especially I love the fact that Johnny Weir, anybody know Johnny Weir? Just amazing figure skater in his own right, very proud and out gay man. When he discovered Yuri and was blowing up Twitter, one of my favorite things that happened ever, I don't think it'll ever be outdone, because he is a correspondent, a sports correspondent for MSNBC, all of his tweets are immediately forwarded to the MSNBC sports page. So for like a week straight, Victor's naked ass was all over MSNBC. Like, just boom, right there. And it's just like, is this real life? That was wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, yeah, just be really careful, yeah. Lean into the mic if you have to, just whisper.
So, I have a friend in Germany who has a question for you.
Okay.
So, she Snapchatted me. Did you try to immerse yourself into the character when you started playing in Yuri on Ice? Or was it just sort of like a casual thing? Did you try to, like, immerse yourself fully into
I always try to immerse myself in some way. Like, for me, like, you know, yeah, we're dubbing an already produced show. To me, it's this. I approach it the same way that I approach theater, because I mean, let's say that I went out and played Hamlet. I would not be the first person to ever have played Hamlet on stage, but I'm still going to try to make it my own in some way. You know, there's the underlying, like, you know, this is what Hamlet is about. This is his story. This is his character, and you have to try to capture that. But you also, if you want it to be authentic and to feel real to an audience, you have to have a bit of yourself in the character and make it real and identifiable. So, like, from moment one, like, I had a feeling about what Yuri was about. I mean, in the first opening scenes, we know, okay, he's failed at, you know, we're opening up on him, he's crying, he feels like he's failed, not only himself, but his family, that he's messed up. And so, like, it's like, oh, well, crap, this is familiar. I know these feelings. So I just kind of tapped into those feelings of my own and my memories of feeling that way, and then put that into the character. So that was how I at least started with my immersion. And then after that, I just kind of learned as I went, because we were recording it, you know, week by week. Thank you for your question.
All right, guys, we've only got a couple minutes left, so we got to go as quick as possible.
Okay, I will try to get everybody. It's fast questions, lightning round.
All right, when you have to do a really emotional scene, do you have any way of psyching yourself up to get into character?
I just try to think of if I can think of a moment that that I've experienced in my past, that the character is feeling and that can like match, I'll just go with that. If not, then I just try to imagine what I would feel like if I was going through those situations and try to pull it out. And if I can't legitimately make myself feel those emotions or cry, I don't force it, because then it's just fake.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. So, this is like my first Ask panel I've ever been to, and my friends who are super anxious and they're just sitting back there, they wanted to know if you could do the Armin scream.
I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'd be one of the first people that came in and asked if I could, and I can't. It tears my throat up. But let's see, what's another Armin thing I can do? Like, it's just... To rise above monsters, we have to abandon our humanity. What we fight, we become. Join the scouts, we have cookies. Slay the Titan Scourge, get snickerdoodles. Or Timbits.
I have a question.
Yes, Naomi.
So, what was, say, how did you connect,
It's all good.
What was, like, the most memorable thing that you felt was in the character of Armin and stuff? Like, what was your favorite part about him?
My favorite moment for Armin came from just before he does the speech. That realization after Aaron and Mikasa say, dude, what do? We trust you completely. And that realization of, oh, you don't see me as a poor excuse for a friend. You don't see me as a weakling that always needs help. You believe in me, you trust in me. And that realization of, oh, I'm my own worst enemy in this case. I don't have to think these things. And he embraces that immediately. And it completely, like, you see that. He gets up and he just waltzes forward and does his thing. And you see the result of that realization ripple throughout the rest of the show for him. He just starts doing, like, he believes in himself more and more, takes bigger and bigger risks. And it's just, like, I love him for that.
Armin has to be one of my favorite characters because of that, because, no, he doesn't have a lot of brute strength, but he definitely has the courage and the will to change other people's minds.
He's got the strength of heart.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I was wondering if you might be able to do when Victor and Yuri are at the chapel, would you be able to do the speech?
I don't remember the lines like 100%, sweetie. I'm so sorry.
Would you be able to do one of the important lines then?
Do one of the important lines?
One that sticks out the most besides the drunk scene.
Oh God. For my program this season, I've decided that the theme is love. I don't know if it actually is love, but that's what it is to me, and it's the only word that I have for it. So I've chosen love. Oh, even better one. I remember, it's the very last line of the freaking show. For better or for worse, we call everything on the ice love.
Favorite one. If you had to choose in Stranger Things, which character is your favorite?
Oh God, curly hair. Dustin. Yeah, Dustin by far. 100%.
I don't know. It's like more of a relate thing. But there's this meme where it's a picture of a Titan and Armin, and it's like Armin.
I love that. Real fun, quick story then, if we have just enough time for me to tell this. All right, it's the Armin scream. You know, like, I believe the first time I ever saw that Armin arm out little GIF was on Tumblr. Around the time that came out, the episode where Armin has the big scream at 5 was leaked because some distributors send out the DVDs a month early. So all of a sudden, this audio and stuff was popping up all over the place without the picture. It was just the audio. And it popped up on Tumblr. And so somebody, because there was no context, there was no imagery leading up to, seeing Aaron getting or anything like that. It was just the screen, no context, no picture. And someone said, titled, "This is hilarious. It sounds like Aaron threw a spider on him." And so with, of course, the magical world of Tumblr, within half an hour, somebody had drawn a picture of just terrified chibi Armin with happy-faced Aaron just going, throwing a spider at him. And then somebody commented, "Oh my God, this is hilarious. We went to high school with him," and I found out, yes, these were people I went to high school with that suddenly found it. I guess they went to Tumblr. It's like, the last time we heard him scream like this, he was being pushed down a hill in a shopping cart. Which is true. Because in small town Texas, there's nothing to do except make your own jackass stunts when you're a teenager. So that 100% true. So then, of course, within half an hour, same happy face Aaron pushing Armin in a shopping cart with a